think you're started. See, there's always this little blinky roly thing that I like. It's loading, but I think there we go. All right. Well, hi everybody. It's a little early today. I have an empty chair. Shannon has the day off. She's at home resting. Hopefully, I will have a visitor here in a little bit, but I'm not too sure. I was supposed to have a visitor, but she's not here yet. So, how are you guys? Talk louder. All right, let me see. Maybe I need to turn it up. Maybe I need to pull it closer. There. Can you hear me now? Anybody? Can you hear me? Talk loud. Okay, I'm talking loud. Somebody tell me that they can hear me. Alex, can you hear me? Lexi, can you hear me? There's, um, okay. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Stay right there. Don't leave. Don't leave. I'll be right back. Where'd you go to class? All the way down to Freedom. Yep, where you guys were book club. Just go right there by that room right there. Stop. Right there. See the string? Pick up the cup and hand it. There you go. Come on. All right, I'll be right back. Hold this string. What's it come on? Does that actually work? I don't know. Honestly. It's alright, just stand. I started Sunday school and then I got to do this. Whew. It's okay. I'm back. Whew. Did you miss me? You probably thought I left you. I didn't leave you. You can hear me? Okay. Well, glad y'all can hear me. I don't know why, Lexi, you can't hear me. Um, Try turning up the sound on the device that you have and see if you can hear me better that way. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm a little scatterbrained this morning. I don't know what happened to me, but I'm okay now. So, as you see, I have an empty chair. Shannon's on vacation this week. Evidently, she needed a break. So I have a special guest. She's here, but not here. But I have a very cool way of calling her. Now, this special guest that I have with me today, she lives far away. Like, you'd have to drive for like 3 hours, unless her fiance's driving, and then it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes. And they're. But, anyways, so she lives really far away, and you've probably already figured out who it is, but that's okay. But I have something that I want to tell you. See, last week we talked about how we have to connect with God or reconnect ourselves. Remember, because we get tired and we need snacks and naps. Well, my guest today is very good at napping and she likes snacks. So I figured she was a great guest to come and talk to us today. But I have to get her attention. So, and as you see, I have left my cell phone at home, so I cannot call her. However, I have a very special way to call her. Look at this. Have you ever played with one of these? You put a string on a cup, and then you make a really long string, and all the way on the other end of the string, there's another cup. And if I talk into this cup like this, the other person is supposed to be able to hear it. Now, I don't really know if it works, but we're going to try it. Okay, so hold on one second. I'm going to make sure. Yep, she's got the other end. Are you ready? Okay. Excuse me, special guest. Could you come join me down here? Let's see if she comes.
Sure.
Okay, let's see. I think she said something. All right, let's see if she shows up. It's a long hallway. Nick, you need to move table. Okay. Look who's here. It's my oldest Sarah. She came to visit us today. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I only get to see her once in a while, but the cool thing is that I do usually have a cell phone, and I can talk to Sarah every single day, and I don't have to use this. Could you really hear me?
No.
No, couldn't hear. Darn it! I really wanted it to work. But wouldn't that be cool if you could just put a cup on a string and you could send it to somebody that you wanted to talk to, and you could just, oh, and they could answer you, and you could have conversations with them all the time. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool. You know what? You know what would be really cool? If I had this cup and I could send that cup all the way to God.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to have a conversation with him, I could just, excuse me, God, can I talk to you for a second? And he could say, sure, Beth Ann, what you got going on today? Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be the bee's knees.
The bee, I didn't know bees had knees. That would be so neat. But you know what would happen? If I had a cup like this,
Everybody would have to have a cup like that.
and then we'd have all of these strings going up.
No strings attached.
And then what would happen is the strings would get all tangled up. And then God maybe not hear my message would be mixed with your message. And he could probably get very confused.
Or you could be like talking to somebody else and you'd be like, hey, God. And be like, no, this is Jeff.
That would not work. Well, you know, the good thing is that we actually have a way that we can talk to God without these silly cups.
Yeah, no strings attached. Nothing.
Do you know how to do that?
Just pray.
She's so smart. I'm so blessed. You are so right. Yes, that is a great, great way for you to connect with God is through prayer because there are no strings attached. And God, listen to this. Did you know that you could pray and I could pray and Tyler could pray and we could all pray at the exact same time, completely different prayers, and God hears every single word we say?
I didn't know that.
Imagine if everybody in the entire world were to pray at the exact same time. God would hear every prayer.
The world would be a better place.
Could you imagine if you heard everybody's prayer at one time?
That's not my business.
No, that we are not wired for that. In our house, if like three people are trying to talk at the same time, it's chaos because you just get louder so somebody will hear you. But you don't have to with God. You can talk to him whenever you want, and he always hears you. Now, the tricky thing about God is even though you talk to him and you ask him for things, he doesn't always answer right away. Does he?
Nope.
Sometimes he makes you sit with what you really asked him to make sure that's really what you want. Did you ever notice that?
Oh.
That sometimes you pray for something
and it just doesn't happen,
and
it's the best thing ever.
Exactly. Sometimes you pray, oh God, please let me just get this new job. Please, I really want this new job. And then you don't get the new job, but then you get an even better job. And you're like, I didn't even pray for that job. But see, sometimes the best prayers are the unanswered ones.
I agree.
It's amazing how God works like that. But you can talk to him all the time. But here's the catch of it. You got to give him time to listen and to respond because he'll hear you and then he thinks, what's the best way for me to respond to this? Sometimes he doesn't and lets you figure it out on your own. Sometimes he answers and it is not what you want to hear. But God always tells us what we need, even if it's not what we want. He knows what we need because what does God do? He provides for all of our needs. So sometimes when we pray for something, it's not necessarily what he wants for us, and he knows what's best. But so what I want you to remember today is that in church, when you're listening to the sermon, Pastor Jared is going to be talking about reconnecting with God. And one of the best ways for you to reconnect with God is through prayer. And I have been teaching you for a long time about how important it is to pray. Pray about big things, pray about little things, pray, hey God, thanks for letting me get across the street safe. Anything that you can think about that you want to pray about, you can. And God is listening to you. And you don't need a cup. You don't even need a cell phone. Because some of you don't have cell phones, and it's okay. You don't need a cell phone because God's doesn't require a payment plan.
Thank goodness. That would be expensive.
That would be expensive. If we had to pay for calls, that wouldn't be good.
I'd
So
be broke.
remember, prayer is important. It is the best way for you to connect with God. And guess what? He's always listening.
Even when you don't want him to.
God hears things that you don't want him to hear. But he's always listening. He's always paying attention. And he's always right there every minute of the day, whether you want him to be or not. So pay attention to him because he wants to be your friend. Did you know that?
I did.
She's pretty smart. I don't know who raised her. Hey, it's true. All right, let's pray. Dear God, thank you for loving us and talking to us. We love you so much, and we are so glad that we are your children. You are amazing, and you are always there for us. God, help us to remember and follow all of the commandments you set up for us. Help us to love one another, and help us to stay connected to you through our thoughts, our words, and our prayers. Amen. All right. That was a great message.
Yeah.
I'm really sad that that cup and a string didn't work.
I could only hear you because you're like 5 feet away.
Maybe that's why they say it works. Maybe the string can't be very long. Next time I'm going to put her outside and see if she can hear me. They'll probably know. But it's fun to pretend. I don't need that paper anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so now is the great time because now is Sunday school.
Well, it's always a good time when I have.
Yes, she has Duncan today. I don't. All right, so we are studying the animals of the Bible. And fascinatingly enough, there are many animals in the Bible that we did not know about.
I love elephant.
The elephant? Okay, well, there's no elephant in the Bible. She's as bad as Shannon. Shannon's like, I love dolphins. I'm like, oh, go see if you can find a dolphin in the Bible.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, well, we didn't find any elephants in the Bible. However, Gretchen and Jack are great lesson teachers. And Gretchen and Jack always have great things to tell us. But they're not here yet, so we'll have to wait for them to get here. But what I was telling you is that we were talking about all of these animals that we have discovered in the Bible. Now, some of them you probably know, like Jonah and the big fish, and you know Daniel in the lion's den, and you know the plagues that God put down on Pharaoh when he wouldn't let his people go, and the plague of the frogs, and you know about the snake and Adam and Eve, and you know about the dove for Noah's Ark. But did you know about the quail?
No.
See, she needs to go back and watch our Sunday school lessons. The quail is a part of the story where the Israelites are in the wilderness and they're whining and complaining that they're hungry. So God made it every day, quail and manna would come down from the heavens to feed his people because he always provides for our needs.
I agree. Always provides.
I don't know if I'd be happy if quail came down from the heavens right now.
No, but if it's all that we had, we'd have to make do.
Because God provides for our needs, not for our wants. And he knows what's best for us. So we are getting close to the end of our animal kingdom. And we've made all of these fabulous crafts. This was fun. This was the camel that we put it on a straw. And we had to see if we could get it to land on the eye because a rich man will give up his riches. How'd that go? Let me think. It's easier to put a camel through an eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to give up his riches. That's what we learned last week. Yeah. So I hope you still have your camels. I hope you were shooting them and seeing if they could land in the eye of the needle. You saw I wasn't very good at it. But this week we're making something so cool, and Sarah's going to make one too. She's going to be excited about it. All right. So our lesson this week is kind of like a review. Because when we did, remember back when we had Easter and we had Holy Week and we talked about Peter And Peter was the one that denied Jesus. How many times? Do you remember how many times?
What was the question?
How many times Peter denies Jesus when Jesus is taken into custody?
4, 3.
3 times. So Jesus tells Peter that he's going to deny him 3 times in front of other people. And Peter is like, I would never ever deny you. I love you, Lord. I support you. I'm your disciple. I'm going to do everything that you tell me to. And when the story starts to unfold and Jesus is arrested by Pontius Pilate, a group of people say, "Hey, aren't you one of that guy's disciples? Don't you follow him?" And Peter said, "Not me." He did that 3 times. Now, if you remember correctly, Jesus told him, "By the time the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times." So this is kind of a review for you. So if you haven't figured out already, the animal that we are talking about today is
The rooster.
the rooster, because the rooster had a very important role in what was going on with Peter. Now, back in the day, 100 million years ago, long before there were alarm clocks, I don't know if any of you have ever been on a farm. Sarah, you live out there in the middle of nowhere. She really does. Are there any roosters out there?
Oh, plenty.
Do you hear them in the mornings?
No.
Not, you don't have any that are close to you?
No.
Well, a lot of times on the farms, they would have roosters. And when the sun starts to come up, the roosters always crow. And that's the way the farmers knew it was time to get up and start to do their daily chores and do their work. That was before they had alarm clocks. So the rooster, you would hear it, and the rooster says, what? You don't know what a rooster says?
I do. I just am choosing not to humiliate myself on Facebook.
Cock-a-doodle-doo! I have no qualms. Yes, that's what a rooster says. So the rooster in this story is a little bit different. This rooster had a big job, and I think that Jack and Gretchen want to tell us a story first. So we are going to see if we can find Jack and Gretchen, because last I saw they were roaming around here trying to get into mischief. So we need to find Jack and Gretchen. Give us 1 second. Morning, Gretchen.
Morning, Jack. You're up awfully early.
Well, I haven't been to bed yet. It was a long night.
My gosh, what were you doing?
Bad things. Gretchen, you know that Nazarene fella Jesus?
Of course.
Do you know what I heard?
What?
He's gonna die today.
Oh my gosh, no.
It's been a bad 12 hours. First, one of his disciples betrayed him. Then 9 of the 12 bailed on him and ran for the hills, while the 2 that stayed with him as he's put on trial.
On trial for what?
Get this. Because he says he is the Son of God.
What? But he is the Son of God.
You know that, and I know that. Everyone close to him knows that, but everyone keeps running away.
At least 2 of them stayed with him.
Oh, it gets worse. You know that guy Peter?
Yeah, that fisherman?
Last night, he vowed to never leave Jesus' side. Then Jesus told him, "You will deny me 3 times before the rooster crows."
Oh my gosh, please tell me he didn't.
Nope, he did. And as soon as he did it the 3rd time, Larry started crowing for all the world to hear.
I hope he feels terrible.
Larry was just doing his job. It's not his fault Peter was afraid to stand up for Jesus.
I mean, Peter, not Larry. He loved Jesus so much. I can't believe he lost his courage like that.
I don't know how this is going to end. Gretchen, but something tells me it's going to be okay. You know, because Jesus really is the Son of God. He's still going to win. This was a wake up call for Peter. He got, maybe next time he won't be so scared to stand up for Jesus.
Well, the good news is God can give him courage to be brave even in tough times.
And God can forgive him for messing up this time. And you know what? He betcha he gives him another chance.
Do you think he'll give him another chance?
You know, Gretchen, I have been watching God do his thing for a really, really long time. Since the beginning. And I know for a fact.
That's kind of odd, isn't it? I mean, what does that make us? A couple thousand years old?
I don't know, but what I do know is there is only one thing in this world worth standing up for, and that's Jesus. God will always be there for us, and He will give people courage to stand for Him. You know what, Gretchen? We are so blessed, and we need to remember that we need to stand up for Jesus too.
Hashtag preach.
High five. All right, let's go see if we can find Larry and find the rest of this story. Maybe there's a good ending.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye. Wow, those two, they really find all of the great stories. Yep, that Larry, he was just doing what Jesus told him to. Jesus said, at this time, I want you to crow because I know what's going to happen. And sure enough, I wonder, how do you think Peter felt after Jesus told him that he was going to not deny him 3 times? And Peter was like, I would never do that. And then the third time he did that, the rooster crowed. How do you think Peter felt?
Crummy.
I bet you he felt awfully crummy because he did exactly what Jesus told him he was going to do, and it wasn't good. He was supposed to be the one that stood up and said, I am standing with Jesus. Why do you think he didn't stand up for Jesus?
It's amazing what people will say to your face, but behind your back, it's a different story.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think maybe a part of it is, I think maybe he was a little afraid. See, because what we forget is that Jesus was 100% human like you and I, but he was 100% divine too. And he knew exactly what he had to do and he knew what was going to happen. And he did that because he loved us. And Peter, well, Peter's just 100% human like us. And we make mistakes all the time. If I had to make a list of the sins that I did from the time I woke up until now, I'd run out of paper.
My gosh, it's only 9:15.
I know. But we do. We make stupid mistakes all the time. And it just happens because we're human. And humans make mistakes because of sin. It's just there. We can't get away from it. But the one thing that we can do is always tell God, say, you know what? I know I messed up. I know there's things that I did that I didn't even know I did that were not right. There was thoughts that I had about somebody that weren't very kind. There were words that I said that weren't very kind and they were hurtful. And there were things that I did that I shouldn't have done. And Lord, I'm sorry. And I ask for your forgiveness. Do you know what God says?
I forgive you.
He does every single time. There will never, ever, ever be a time that God won't forgive you. Now, there may be times where people won't forgive you because, again, people are human and they make mistakes. But, oh my, there will never, ever, ever be a time that God doesn't forgive you. So, no matter how bad things look and how many mistakes you have made, you are always, always forgiven. And the rooster today was a way for us to remember to hear what God says, and he always knows what's going on. Now, poor Larry, he was just doing his job, because that's what roosters do. They do what they're supposed to do. we could take good note from Larry. We could just do what we're supposed to do and let God take care of the mess because that's how it works. So, today you're going to add a rooster to your animal kingdom. And I'm going to give, I colored this one. It's usually Shannon's job, but she's probably still sleeping. I hope she's not still sleeping. Are you still sleeping, Shannon? All right. So this was my rooster today. I gave him a colorful tail because I was kind of feeling like giving him a colorful tail. And I looked online at all the different colors of roosters. There's a lot of colors. So I thought I'd make mine fun. You can color yours any way you want. Sarah, if I hand this to you, could you get a marker and write Larry at the top because that's his name? And then there's some push pins behind you. If you could hang him up there for me, that'd be for real great. So yes, so we are talking about this rooster and we are trying to understand why Peter did what he did and I don't think we'll ever really know for sure what made Peter make that decision. But what I do know is that when he made that decision, he felt terrible. He really did. He felt so bad that he didn't stand up for Jesus. I know sometimes I feel bad too. I feel sometimes people will say something, it's my opportunity to teach them about Jesus, and I don't do it. And you know what? Sometimes I forget to pray. Now, Sarah, she's a very good prayer. She prays all the time. Her and Tyler pray in the morning. They pray at their meals. They pray before they go to bed. They pray all the time. They're great prayers. I need to work on that sometimes. Sometimes I just get so caught up in the moment that I forget to pray. And I'm going to work on it. It's one of my goals to be better at praying. And you could try too. Sometimes a prayer journal helps. Sometimes you could draw pictures about prayers, or you could write words down that you want to pray about, and those count. Did you know those count? If you're writing it down, that counts. God sees that. It's great. So sometimes maybe you just want to draw a picture about a prayer, and because you don't have the words, that works too. But it's important for us to connect to God and remember that He knows what's best for us. What we got going on here? I I have made like 100 different mistakes. It's all right, Lex. I've made 100 different mistakes too, and we're forgiven. It's awesome. So today I sent you, hopefully you got your packets. So in your packets, you have a Larry to color to hang up on your wall. And then I found this where it talks about Peter denying Jesus. And if you look at Peter, it even shows that he's crying. Poor Peter. Just didn't do the right thing. But it's okay, you're forgiven. And then I found this verse that I thought would be fun to color that says, love your God with all of your heart and with all of your soul and with all of your strength. Because that's exactly really all we have to do is love him as much as you can. And I thought this one was cute too. That's cute. And then this is usually Shannon's job, but I'll save these for her. Maybe she'll want to do them later. I sent you a crossword puzzle for you big kids. And then you little kids can do this one too. You just have to look at the number and find it up here and then write the letter on the line. So that's kind of a fun one. It's math and English all at the same time and learning about Jesus. Can't beat that.
Nope.
It's school, but fun because down here there's the answers. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. You can do it. All right. Sarah, would you like to make a rooster with me?
I suppose I can do that.
You're supposed to say, Mom, I would love to.
Let me get my customer service voice. Oh my gosh, I would love to.
See? So, in your packet, you should have, this is so much fun, you should have a circle, so a rectangle turned into two triangles, an eyeball, and a red piece of paper, and a popsicle stick. You have all of those things? Everybody? I'm going to say yes, you do. Tony, I'm glad you love Jack and Gretchen. They are hysterical. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you are going to trace your hands onto the red. You didn't get your packet? Can you email us the packet? Tony and Sophia, I mailed you one. You didn't get it? It should be in a manila envelope. I sent one to you. Myself. Tuesday morning. But I can post it or I can drop one off later. I can't believe you didn't get it. Did everybody else not get it? Lexi, you got yours?
Maybe somebody stole
It comes in the mail. All right, so trace your hands, and then after you're done tracing your hands, you have to cut them out. I should have cut these out ahead of time. I'm sorry. Like I said, I was all cattywampus and backwards today. So after, remember, if you have a hard time tracing your left hand or your right hand if you're left-handed, it's okay. Have your mom or your dad or your grandma or any kind of older sibling that you may have help you trace that other hand. Mine's kind of a hot mess, but I had to do it myself. So it's fine. Remember, we don't have to do it perfect. We just have to try our best because that's what God asks of us. Because who can be perfect, Sarah?
Not me.
There's only one perfect, and who's the perfect? Yes, Jesus is the
You don't
only.
have to tell me the answer.
Well, I wasn't sure she was listening.
I was trying to make it fun.
Oh, well, Jesus was the only person to ever walk this earth that was perfect. And none of us, no matter how hard we try or think that we are perfect, we are not. We fall short every single day, every single time. But it doesn't matter because we are forgiven. Now, the key to being forgiven is you're always forgiven. And God encourages us to be forgiven and then try harder. Oh, yes, we did. Mommy found it. Good job. I'm so glad that Tony and Sophia have their project because I was going to be a little sad. All right, I have some giant hands. Your hands are not going to be this big. It's fine. So cut out your hands, and then I should have got 2 pairs of scissors.
You've only supplied us with one pair.
I know. Okay, you keep cutting, and tell them something wonderful about yourself. What's wonderful about it? Well, I get another pair of scissors. Oh,
Wonderful about me. I don't know. I'm Beth Ann's favorite.
Oh.
It's hard to be the favorite. That's wonderful that I'm the favorite. She'll deny it to everybody, but it's okay. She told me.
It's a constant battle at our house. Everybody wants to be my favorite. Jesus.
Spots filled. Sorry.
Jesus.
Sorry, Shannon.
Jesus is my favorite. Anywho, so then what you're going to do is you're going to cut out your circle, just like, remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Circle, paper. Then you are going to cut out, a lot of cutting today. It's good hand-eye coordination. You're going to cut out your rectangle like this. I made it so it was super easy. And then once you cut it out like this, just cut it in half on that line. So now I have, instead of a rectangle, I have 2 triangles. She's focused. So these are going to make the beak of the rooster. So I'm going to get some glue. There's a lot of steps in this one. I thought we would do this one together. So on your circle, over here, you're going to put 3 or 4 lines of glue. I have this glue because I couldn't find any other glue, but you could just use regular glue, or you could even use a glue stick. There we go. All right, I put my glue on there. Now, I'm going to glue my beak on just like that. There you go. Wow. That's pretty good, right? Looks like a good beak. Kind of looks like a duck. But we're going to fix that. Now, I'm going to put a little blob of glue right here to glue on my eyeball. I should have had one for Tyler. He probably can make a craft too.
He's so crafty.
Well, that's good. Okay. I can't see you. You are glitches? I'm glitching? What? Are you supposed to unfold the paper? Yes, unfold the paper. I had to fold the paper so it would fit in the envelope. So you can't put 2 hands if you don't unfold the paper. Or you could.
Or you could, and
You
you
could.
just like trace it, and
All right.
you just have you have a backward chain.
So there you go. Now, the rooster, as you know, has a up here and down here. What's this called? Gobbler? We don't know. So that is why you have 2 hands. because there's going to be one at the top. Mine is really big. And one at the bottom. Good thing your hands are smaller than mine. Now, you're going to glue it on the back of the head. So put your glue at the bottom of your hand. I love doing crafts with you guys. It's so fun. All right. And then you're going to glue that on the top of the head. Now remember, I have a very large hand. So my little at the top is very big. There. It's really big. I should have got some smaller hands. All right, now the bottom one goes down here. Goes like this. And that goes right here-ish. All right, so I'm going to put glue on the bottom of my hand all the way up to the thumb. And I'll show you. Now, before you glue on the bottom, you have to tape on your stick so you can hold it. So you have to put this right here. All right? So just use a piece of tape. Hold that on there. All right, Sarah, did you cut out all your stuff?
Oh.
Nope, she didn't cut out her beak. It's all right, Sarah. Okay. So I taped mine on just like this. Right now, he just looks ridiculous because he doesn't have his little gobbler thing. But I'm going to give him a gobbler thing. Kinda. There we go. It'll work so much better with your little tiny hands. Because my hands are huge. Mine just look silly. Gobble, 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 gobble.
Looks like he's got a mohawk.
He kind of does look like he's got a mohawk. But see, when you use your little hands, yours will look better. So when you finish yours, could you send me a picture so I can show people that it doesn't look as ridiculous as mine does? I should have just printed off some little hands because that probably would have looked better. But you get the gist. This is how we made our very special Larry the Rooster. This is Larry. And he is very proud of his... I should really know what that's called.
Someone told you. A gobbler?
I think it's a gobbler. A gobbler? Alex, really? That's what it's called? Okay, I believe you. Anywho, it's supposed to look like this. I don't really know. Yours probably looks great. I think I put mine on backwards. I did put it on backwards. There, see? That's the problem. I put my hand on backwards. Let me turn it around. I don't think that really helps. Nope, it doesn't really help. Okay. This is a little bit of a fail. But like I said, when you use your little hands, it'll probably... See, Tony and Sophia, you'll send me a picture of your roosters. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Alex, I would like to see your rooster as well. Lexi, get on it. Come on now. And there's others of you that can send me pictures too, because this is a sad-looking rooster. I need a better rooster to hang up over here. All right. How you doing? Maybe you should move it down a little bit. Put it down here. See, Sarah's hands are bigger than mine. Maybe we should make a little hand. Anywho, this is going to be one of those crafts you're going to be like, do you remember when Beth Ann made us make a rooster and hers was funny looking? But you are going to remember this story because of my silly rooster. You're going to be like, why did we make a rooster? And then you're going to say, I know. We made a rooster to remind us of the story of Peter and when he denied Jesus and Jesus still forgave him for denying him because we make mistakes and we are forgiven.
I'm not finished.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so the other cool thing about Sarah is that Sarah also knows sign language.
Oh, jeez.
So we're going to put Sarah to the test.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
Sarah, I think you really want to be put to the test today, don't you?
I didn't study.
You didn't study?
No. Didn't know there was going to be an exam.
Well, there's not really an exam. There's a... Flip it around. For some reason, they put it there like that. See how the thumb goes back in the back? There you go. Okay. So today we're supposed to learn Jesus is with us in the tough times. But maybe Sarah knows something that she could teach us. Like we are forgiven. No.
Shannon is far more advanced than I am.
Well, I did not ask Shannon for her assistance because I thought that I had you.
She is so much more advanced. She is so much more advanced than I am.
Oh, no.
So I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I do not. This looks terrible.
It's okay.
I don't know
Well,
that. So props to
we
Shannon.
do have, we've learned an awful lot of them. So maybe next week we're going to have to learn 2 because Sarah doesn't know any. Or you can, your challenge today is to write down or draw a picture about something that you want to pray about. Maybe something that's been bothering you, especially you older kids that are really, really good at writing. My little ones, I want you to draw a picture about something that you think God, that you know God has made and it is beautiful. So if you want to maybe draw a picture of some flowers or draw a picture of your family because God made your family, or you can draw a picture of trees or birds or something you see outside. And then you can say, thank you, God, for whatever you do. That's a prayer. You could do that. You older kids, I want you to think about something that maybe you've done or you've said that maybe you shouldn't have. And then I want you to say, God, I'm sorry for whatever you write down. Please forgive me. And He will. So that's your challenge for today. I want you to think about something that you really need to ask God for forgiveness and practice that because He always forgives you. Even everything, little things, big things, in between things, He forgives you. And it's super awesome. And we are very blessed to have a God that forgives everything that we do, just like He forgave Peter for denying Him 3 times. But we've been guilty of that too. Peter's not far off from us. He's a good example for us to follow and ask for forgiveness and try to do things better. And if you continue in the Bible, you learn that Peter does do great things for Jesus when he realizes that that is what he's called to do. So we'll learn more about Peter as you get older and we go off through the Bible a little bit more. So that is our lesson for today. I'm going to close us in prayer and then we will say goodbye. Okay? Okay. Let's pray. Dear God, we thank you for all the love you offer us, all of the forgiveness you constantly give us, and all of the grace and mercy that you show us every day. God, we ask you to help us to make good choices. And when we don't make good choices, remind us that it's a simple act of forgiveness and a promise to do better is all that you require from us. Lord, we will do our best to follow you every day. Thank you for loving us. Amen. Sarah,
Yes.
thank you for joining me today.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate you getting up early and sharing your smiling face with all of my Sunday school friends.
Sure.
And some of our congregation that watch as well.
Oh, lovely.
It is love. You brought quite joy to me today.
I always do.
She does. It's true. She brings, and so you parents, I just want you to know that when they do grow up, you can really be best friends. So just get through the hard times because once you get to the other side, it's wonderful.
She still has a long way to go with a lot more children.
Oh, yeah. We're working on it. So, slowly but surely, they cross the adult bridge, and then it's a different type of relationship. But what you're doing now for them is most important. And I appreciate all of the support and all of the effort from all of you to make sure that your children are engaged in Sunday school and engaged in their learning and they're engaged in their faith. because you are their best role models and you teach them more than I can ever teach them. So thank you for doing all that you can to grow their connection with Jesus, because in the end, it does mean the most in the whole world. That is all they need, is that connection to God. And you're doing a great job. So keep it up. All right. You guys have a great week, and I will be back here maybe with Shannon. She can help us with the sign language. And we will see you next Sunday at 8:50. Remember, it starts at 8:50, and I will see you then. Thanks, Sarah. All right, guys. Have a good week. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Now we just wait.